Hey, backers, it's that time of year again. We did a video like this last year, and it really helped, especially the new people understand. But we decided to make an updated version for 2024. The 2023 one was a little over 9 minutes long. We're hoping for under 6 this time, so we'll see what we can do. Basically, you're watching this after the groundhog, and that means the only meet left other than our championships is the A+ meet this coming weekend. Championship meets are the most exciting part of any swim season, right? It's what you work hard for all year. There are different championship meets for different level and different age of swimmer, and that's super exciting. This is, in theory, when most of our swimmers are going to go their best times of the entire season. So that's awesome. That feels great. But it's also a time where it's a little confusing for folks, especially folks that are newer. So we're going to go kind of through what the different events are, different meets are, and who's eligible for them and how they work. So it's basically just going to be a PowerPoint with me talking over it. Let me share that, and we'll get going. All right. So again, this is similar to what we sent out last year, but updated for the 2023-24 season. Oh, let me advance it. So basics, everybody has a season championship meet. Please don't get that confused, right? For most swimmers, it's going to be regionals. We'll talk about that in a second, but everybody has one. And we really, really, really want everybody to enter one. This is the way swimming works. Is it's a sport where you build up and you typically have your best performances at the end of the year. So we really want that for all of our swimmers. For state championship meets, 2023 had a brand new format. 2024 is very, very similar, but it's a good reminder to make this video because it is, for experienced backers, a little bit different than what you might be used to. So there are 4 season-ending meets. The first is the Regional Championship in Verona. That's hosted by BAC. That's February 16th through the 18th. Then there are 3 different state championship meets. This was what was new in 2023. Generally, there were a few wrinkles that we tried to improve as an LSC, but generally this was pretty well received. Had a lot of recognition for the athletes, had some different opportunities for everybody and some different vibes for the different age groups. So the LSC is running it back with hopefully some improvements. The 10 under state championship, that's at Swabbanon, February 24th and 25th. The 11 through 14 state championship at the Recplex, March 1st through 3rd. And the senior state championship meet at Schrader, the 23rd through 25th. Actually, I do. There's not just 3 meets, there are more than that. Or excuse me, not just 4 meets, there are more than that. Our older and more accomplished swimmers actually also attend a Speedo sectional meet in Iowa City, Iowa. That's a meet that's kind of one level above the senior state championship meet. And then our top swimmers this spring are attending the NCSA Junior National Championship. That's some of the best swimmers around the country. We already have at least a dozen kids attending and committing to that. We'll pump both of those up on social media quite a bit. So when your summer season is over, keep an eye on social media because it's gonna be a lot of fun stuff. And our swimmers usually do very well at those meets, and we like to celebrate those accomplishments. But it's a very small population. It's mostly experienced backers. So for this slide, we'll stick to the 4 LSC meets. So the regional championship hosted by BAC at Verona. Got a new logo for this year. We're going to have Simply Swimming on site selling some regional gear. It's going to be awesome. So regional championship has always been sort of a dual purpose meet. It's primarily a season-ending meet for so many of our swimmers, but it's also a last chance qualifier. Here's what that means. Our state meets by design can only handle about 30% of swimmers in any age group. We can't have a meet with everybody there. The meets are big enough as they are without trying to have everybody there. So for most of the LSC, most of our team, the final meet of the year is going to be the regional championship meet. Because of that, we like to really create a lot of atmosphere at that meet. We like to have a lot of pomp and circumstance. We like to have a lot of celebration. We like to really make the kids participating in that meet feel like they're having a really good and fun end to their season. But that meet also is a last chance qualifier for the various state meets, and swimmers looking for either a first cut or an additional cut or qualifying in a particular event. So it sort of serves both masters in a way. This is the most confusing part of entering this meet. There are time standards listed in different places for this meet. Most notably, when you go to sign up, there are time standards listed next to each event. Every year we have swimmers, especially new swimmers, they get confused and say, I thought my son or my daughter wasn't qualified for regionals because they don't have that time. Those times are actually the qualifying standards for the state meets the following weekends. The way it works is that regionals is for everybody that isn't headed to state in that particular event. So if a 10-year-old boy goes 38 in the 50 backstroke, that's a state cut, and they are not allowed to do that 50 backstroke of regionals. They can do the 100 back if they don't have that. They could do the 50 fly or any other event they don't have the state cut in, but they're not allowed to do the events they do have the state cut in. So what you end up with at regionals is the top seed is kind of the best of the rest person. It's somebody that's theoretically pretty close to the state cut but hasn't gotten it yet. With that, we'll have some swimmers that you have enough state cuts already, and you're going to skip regionals completely, or maybe just do a little bit of swimming. It's going to be up to your lead coach. We'll have some swimmers that have a moderate amount of state cuts, but are looking for more. And then, of course, the bulk of our swimmers don't have any state cuts, or at least any state cuts yet, and they'll be resting and tapering for regionals as their one and only event. So again, you do not need to qualify for the regional championship. And any swimmer that is slower than the state cut, including a no time, you can do your first ever event at regionals, then you're qualified for regionals. You should participate in regionals. One relatively new rule that got tweaked this year is the win and in aspect. This is for swimmers that win an event at regionals and don't get the state cut. Depending on the event, they might get to go to the state meet anyway. We're a pretty competitive team. We've got a pretty competitive regional. So I would say most of the events that we're talking about, the winner is probably going to go the state cut time. That happens in about 70, 80% of the events at regionals. But in any 12 and under event, 13, 14s, they nixed the win and in rule for you this year. Any 12 and under event that's 200 yards or less, so not the 9, 10, 500, not the 400 IM for 11, 12s. Any of those shorter 12 and under events, the winner automatically gets to go to state. Even if they fall a little bit short of that qualifying time. The reason we mention that now is because maybe this is going to affect what events you want to do. Maybe there's an event that's a little scary for you, but you don't think, I don't think I can quite get the state cut, but hey, maybe you can be the fastest 11-12 boy 200 flyer or 11-12 girl 200 backstroke or something like that. State championship meets. These are 3 different meets broken down by age. This was a brand new format for us in 2023. And like I said, the LSE thought it was generally pretty good. So we're going to run it back in 24 with a few tweaks here and there. Each meet has its own format and rules. The last chance to qualify for any of these meets is going to be that regional championship meet, right? So we have X number of swimmers, about 50 some qualified, 60 maybe for each meet right now. We're hoping to add a few at regionals, but that is the last opportunity to qualify. None of these meets are posted yet. Some of them got a little bit finalized this past week. A couple of them are still having some behind the scenes work being done. They should all be posted this week. When they're posted, they'll be made available publicly for everybody to see. We'll post the eligibility reports after Groundhog to see how many qualifiers we have. We will also send an additional email to all the qualifiers that have the state cut already. So if you are a 10 under state or 11 through 14 or a senior state qualifier, you'll get an email with more information. Under meet. Format got a little messed up there, but this is a change from 2023. It's the similar format of the meet. Up in the Schwabenon, if you were there last year, it was a little bit crowded, a little bit too big for the facility. And this year, we're anticipating that the meet's going to be a little bit bigger than last year based on how our single-age state of Verona went in December. So instead of having everybody all at once, we're going to have the boys in the AM, the girls in the PM. Other than that, it's pretty similar. There's information posted on this already on the LSE website. And again, qualifiers will get an email. One thing to make sure of for all these events is there are single age cuts somewhere on the LSE website that applied to the meet we had in Verona. 9-year-old cuts, for example, 11-year-old cuts. Those do not apply to any of these meets. So for this meet, you have to qualify as either an 8 and under or a 10 and under. The 11 through 14 meet, again, this is back at the Recplex, hosted by the LSC again. Not a lot of dramatic changes to this format. A few tweaks here and there to the order and some of the functions, but generally the same format. Again, there's no 11-year-old events, so watch out for that. It's 11, 12 cuts and 13, 14 cuts. The main issue with this, if you were at this meet last year, you know this very well, is that the Recplex had really bad air quality issues. This was, knock on wood, hopefully an acute issue because they had some significant failures with some of their air handling system. But the LSE has been working pretty hard to get some assurances in place from both the Recplex and kind of their contractors for their air handling system. And I think we're going to have a plan in place that hopefully the air doesn't go bad, but if it starts to, they're going to have more proactive action than they took last year. Senior state meet. very similar to 2023. Senior in this sense is any age. So you have a really good 12-year-old can qualify and participate, but it's generally intended for our 15 overs. The biggest thing is highlighted there in blue, and high school age older swimmers got an email about this from Coach Chris this past week. Your anytime can count for this meet, including this random dual meet in high school, right? Or the random invite. In order to have those count, though, we need copies of those times. So especially high school boys that are finishing their season, you need to get us those times if you have anything that qualifies. All right, a couple miscellaneous things. Obviously, we just mentioned those kind of in order of age, but the order of on the calendar works a little bit differently. So the regional championship is first, then the 10 under and state championships are the same weekend, and then the 11 through 14 is the following weekend, early March. One other note about regionals, we've mentioned it's the last chance qualifier. Because of that, we have what's called time trial events. So at the end of the day on Saturday and Sunday, you can actually do one more bite at the apple, one more chance to try an event that you're very close in. We tend to limit these to swimmers that are reasonably very close to state cut. So if your swimmer's in that boat and they perform and they just miss it, you can talk to a coach about it. We'll talk to you as well. The sign-up deadline for all of these is Thursday, February 8th. Reason is that the following Monday is when the regional entry needs to be hard and fast and set. So we want it done Thursday so we can reach out. So we want you to have it done Thursday so that we can look at it and say, hey, we really thought Jenny should think about the 100 fly or whatever the change might be. Unlike our hosted meets where you guys might be used to making changes like right up till the end, this is an LSC hosted meet, LSC sponsor meet that we are hosting. So we do not have the control that we might have for one of our meets on making changes. So those need to be in there Thursday and they need to be concrete set by Monday. The state championship works a little different. Obviously, we can make changes because, hey, some of you are going to qualify in new events at regionals and some are going to qualify completely brand new at regionals. So we need to be able to make those changes for the 3 different state meets after regionals. However, with the 150 to 200 different kids qualified for the different meets, if we had nothing in there until regionals, it would be a complete mess. So we need swimmers to have a rough draft as much as possible, the qualified swimmers, by Thursday the 8th. If your swimmer is not qualified, but you're hoping they're going to get one and we think they're going to get one, don't sign up yet. We'll add them. If your swimmer has one cut, sign up accordingly and we'll add more events or we'll adjust events if we need to after regionals. All right, so that's about it. Hopefully that came in under 8 minutes here. Any general questions on the meet formats, you can ask me, but any questions about your swimmer and specifically should obviously go to your swimmer's lead coach. Should be great. I mean, this is what we train hard for, right? This is what the kids have been coming to practice for. It's what the coach has been working hard on everything for. So this is gonna be a great end of the season. We're gonna have a really good time and go back.